Shabbat Shalom. We're going to start out with our thanks for our meal. Blessed are you, Yahweh, our God, sovereign King of the universe. You nourish the whole world with goodness, grace, kindness, and compassion. You give bread to all flesh. For your mercy endures forever. And through your great goodness we've never lacked, nor will we ever lack for food, shelter, clothing. Even the monetary needs of the day, all these needs are met within you. So we praise you and thank you. B'Shem Yeshua, Amen. For you alone are Yahweh, the Aleph Tav, and all this for the sake of your great name. You nourish all, sustain all, and prepare food for all the creatures which you have created. Blessed are you, Abba Yahweh. You nourish all. B'Shem Yeshua, Amen.
Just a little bit.
Tonight we're reading a double portion because we're reading Friday evening's Feast of Unleavened Bread Passover reading, as well as the Ivei Shabbat reading for tomorrow, which we're reading Friday's reading and Shabbat Saturday's reading. So 7th and 8th day of unleavened bread. Blessed are you, Abba Yahweh, our God, sovereign King of the universe. You've sanctified us with your commandments and commanded us to engross ourselves with the words of Torah. Please, Abba Yahweh, our God, sweeten the words of your Torah in our mouths and in the mouths of all your people, Israel. May we and our offspring, the offspring of your people, the whole house of Israel, may we all together know your name and study your Torah for the sake of fulfilling your desire. Blessed are you, Abba Yahweh. You teach Torah to your people. Blessed are you, Abba Yahweh, our God, sovereign King of the universe. You chose us from among all the nations and gave us the Torah of truth. Blessed are you, Abba Yahweh, giver of the Torah. Abba Yahweh, open our eyes that we may behold wondrous things from your law. We pray this, B'Shem Yeshua, Amen. May Yahweh bless you and keep watch over you. May Yahweh make his presence to enlighten you. May Yahweh be kind to you. May Yahweh bestow favor on you and grant you shalom, shalom, peace. B'Shem Yeshua, Amen. Our first reading is Exodus 13, verse 17 to 15:26. When Pharaoh let the people go, God did not lead them by the way of the land of the Philistines, although that was nearer. For God said, lest the people change their mind when they see war and return to Egypt. But God led the people around by the way of the wilderness toward the Red Sea. And the people of Israel went up out of the land of Egypt, equipped for battle. Moses took the bones of Joseph with him, for Joseph had made the sons of Israel solemnly swear, saying, God will surely visit you, and you shall carry my bones up from here with you. And they moved on from Sukkot and encamped at Edom, on the edge of the wilderness. And Yahweh went before them by day in a pillar of cloud to lead them along the way, and by night in a pillar of fire to give them light, that they might travel by day and by night. The pillar of cloud by day and the pillar of fire by night did not depart from before the people. Then Yahweh said to Moses, tell the people of Israel to turn back and encamp in front of Pi-Hahiroth. You shall camp facing it by the sea. For Pharaoh will say of the people of Israel, they are wandering in the land, and the wilderness has shut them in. And I will harden Pharaoh's heart, and he will pursue them. And I will get glory over Pharaoh and all of his hosts. And the Egyptians shall know that I Yahweh am the Lord God. And they did so. And when the king of Egypt was told that the people had fled, the mind of Pharaoh and his servants was changed toward the people. And they said, what is this that we have done, that we let Israel go from serving us? So he made ready his chariot and took his army with him, and took 600 chosen chariots and all the other chariots of Egypt, with the officers over all of them. And Yahweh hardened the heart of Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, and he pursued the people of Israel. While the people of Israel were going out defiantly, the Egyptians pursued them, all Pharaoh's horses and chariots, and his horsemen, and his army, and overtook them, encamped at the sea by Pi-hahiroth, in front of Baal-Zephon. When Pharaoh drew near, all the people of Israel lifted up their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians were marching after them, and they feared greatly. And the people of Israel cried out to Yahweh. And they said to Moshe, it is because there are no graves in Egypt that you have taken us away to die in the wilderness? What have you done to bring us out of Egypt? Is not this what we said to you in Egypt? Leave us alone, that we may serve the Egyptians. For it would have been better for us to serve the Egyptians than to die in the wilderness. And Moses said to the people, fear not, stand firm, and see the salvation, the Yeshua of Yahweh, with which he will make work for you today. For the Egyptians whom you see today, you shall see never again. Yahweh will fight for you, and you have only to be silent. And Yahweh said to Moses, why do you cry to me? Tell the people of Israel to go forward, lift up your staff, and stretch out your hand over the sea, and divide it, that the people of Israel may go forward through the sea on dry ground. And I will harden the hearts of the Egyptians, so that they shall go in after them, and I will get the glory over Pharaoh and all of his host, his chariots and all of his horsemen. And the Egyptians shall know that I am Elohim, Yahweh, when I have gotten the glory over Pharaoh and his chariots and his horsemen. Then the angel of Elohim, who was going before the host of Israel, moved and went behind them. And the pillar of cloud moved from before them and stood behind them, coming between the host of Egypt and the host of Israel. And there was the cloud and the darkness, and it lit up the night, without one coming near to the other all night. And then Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and Yahweh drove the sea back by a strong east wind all night, and made the sea dry land, and the waters were divided. And the people of Israel went into the midst of the sea on dry ground, the waters being a wall to them on their right hand and on their left. And the Egyptians pursued and went in after them into the midst of the sea, all of Pharaoh's horses, his chariots and his horsemen. And in the morning watched Yahweh in the pillar of the fire, and the cloud looked down on the Egyptian forces and threw the Egyptian forces into panic, clogging their chariot wheels so that they drove heavily. And the Egyptians said, let us flee from before Israel, for Yahweh fights for them against us Egyptians. Then Yahweh said to Moses, stretch out your hand over the sea, that the waters may come back upon the Egyptians, upon their chariots, and upon their horsemen. So Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the sea returned to its normal course when the morning appeared. And as the Egyptians fled into it, Yahweh threw the Egyptians into the midst of the sea. The waters returned and covered the chariots and the horsemen, and all the host of Pharaoh that had followed them into the sea. Not one of them remained. But the people of Israel walked on dry ground through the sea, and the waters being a wall to them on their right hand and on their left hand. And thus Yahweh saved Israel that day from the hand of the Egyptians, and Israel saw the Egyptians dead on the seashore. Israel saw the great power that Yahweh used against the Egyptians, so the people feared Yahweh, and they believed in Yahweh and in his servant Moses. And then Moses and the people of Israel sang this song to Yahweh, saying, I will sing to Yahweh, for he has triumphed gloriously. The horse and the rider he has thrown into the sea. Yahweh is my strength and my song. He has become my Yeshua, my salvation. This is my Elohim, and I will praise him. My father's Elohim, and I will exalt him. Yahweh is a man of war. Yahweh is his name. Pharaoh's chariots and his host he cast into the sea, and his chosen officers were sunk in the Red Sea. The floods covered them. They went down into the depths like a stone. Your right hand, O Yahweh, glorious in power. Your right hand, O Yahweh, shatters the enemy. In the greatness of your majesty, you overthrow your adversaries. You send out your fury, and it consumes them like stubble. At the blast of your nostrils, the waters pile up. The floods stood up in a heap. The deep congealed in the heart of the sea. The enemy said, I will pursue, I will overtake. I will divide the spoil, my desire shall have its fill of them. I will draw my sword, and my hand shall destroy them. You blew with your wind. With your ruach, the sea covered them. They sank like lead in the mighty waters. Who is like you, O Yahweh, among the gods? Who is like you, majestic in sanctification, awesome in glorious deeds, doing wonders? You stretched out your right hand. The earth swallowed them. You have led in your steadfast love the people whom you have redeemed. You have guided them by your strength, to your sanctified abode, your sacred abode. The peoples have heard, they trembled. Pangs have seized the inhabitants of Philistia. Now are the chiefs of Edom dismayed. Trembling seizes the leaders of Moab. All the inhabitants of Canaan have melted away. Terror and dread fall upon them. Because of the greatness of your arm, they are still as a stone. Till your people, O Yahweh, pass by. Till your people pass by, whom you have purchased. You will bring them in and plant them in your own mountain, the place, O Yahweh, which you have made for your abode, the sanctuary, O Yahweh, which your hands have established. Yahweh will reign forever and ever. For when the horses of Pharaoh with his chariots and his horsemen went into the sea, Yahweh brought back the waters of the sea upon them. But the people of Israel walked on dry ground in the midst of the sea. Then Miriam, the prophetess, the sister of Aaron, took a tambourine in her hand, and all of the women went out after her with tambourines and dancing. And Miriam sang to them, Sing to Yahweh, for he has triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider he has thrown into the sea. And then Moses made Israel set out from the Red Sea, and they went into the wilderness of Shur. And they went 3 days into the wilderness and found no water. And when they came to Marah, they could not drink the water of Marah because it was bitter. Therefore it was named Marah. And the people grumbled against Moses, saying, What shall we drink? And he cried unto Yahweh. And Yahweh showed him a log. And he threw it into the water, and the water became sweet. There Yahweh made for them a statute and a rule. And there he tested them, saying, If you will diligently listen to the word of Yahweh your God, and do that which is right in his eyes, and give ear to his commandments, and keep all of his statutes, I will put none of the diseases on you that I put on the Egyptians. For I am Yahweh your healer. Numbers 28:19 to 25. But offer a food offering and a burnt offering to Yahweh, 2 bulls from the herd, 1 ram, 7 male lambs, a year old. See that they are without blemish. Also their grain offering of fine flour mixed with oil. 3/10 of an ephah shall you offer for the bull, and 2/10 for a ram. 1/10 shall you offer for each of the 7 lambs. Also 1 male goat for a sin offering, to make atonement for you. You shall offer these besides the burnt offering of the morning, which is for a regular burnt offering. And in the same way you shall offer daily for 7 days the food of a food offering, with a pleasing aroma to Yahweh. It shall be offered besides the regular burnt offering and its drink offering. And on the 7th day you shall have a holy convocation, and you shall not do any ordinary work. Second Samuel 22. And David spoke to Yahweh the words of this song on the day when Yahweh delivered him from the hand of all his enemies and from the hand of Shaul. And he said, Yahweh is my rock and my fortress, and my Yeshua, my deliverer, my Elohim, God, my rock, in whom I take refuge, my shield, and the horn of my Yeshua salvation, my stronghold and my refuge, my Yeshua, my salvation. You save me from violence. I call upon Yahweh, who is worthy to be praised, and I am saved, Yahusha, from my enemies. For the waves of death encompassed me, and the torrents of destruction assailed me. The cords of Sheol entangled me, and the snares of death confronted me. In my distress I called upon Yahweh. To my Elohim, my God, I called. From his temple he heard my voice, and my cry came unto his ears. Then the earth reeled and rocked, and the foundations of heaven trembled and quaked because he was angry. Smoke went up from his nostrils, and a devouring fire from his mouth. Glowing coals flamed forth from him. He bowed down the heavens and came down. Thick darkness was under his feet. He rode on a cherub and flew. He was seen on the wings of the wind, the Ruach. He made the darkness around him his canopy, thick clouds, a gathering of water. Out of the brightness before him, coals of fire flamed forth. Yahweh thundered from heaven, and the Most High uttered his voice. And he sent out arrows and scattered them, routing them with lightnings. The channels of the sea were seen, and the foundations of the world were laid bare at the rebuke of Yahweh, at the blast of the breath of his nostrils, at the blast of the ruach of his nostrils. He sent from on high. He took me and drew me out of the many waters. He rescued me from my strong enemy, from those who hated me, for they were too mighty for me. They confronted me in the day of my calamity, but Yahweh was my support. He brought me out into a broad place. He rescued me because he delighted in me. Yahweh dealt with me according to my righteousness, according to the cleanliness of my hands. He rewarded me. For I have kept the way of Yahweh. I have not wickedly departed from my Elohim, for all of his rules were before me, and his statutes I did not turn aside from. I was blameless before him, and I kept myself from guilt. And Yahweh rewarded me according to my righteousness, according to my cleanliness in his sight. With the merciful, you show yourself merciful. With the blameless man, you show yourself blameless. With the purified, you deal purely. And with the crooked, you make yourself seem torturous. You save a humble people, but your eyes are on the haughty to bring them down. For you are my lamp, O Yahweh, and my God lightens my darkness. For by you I can run against a troop, and by my Elohim God I can leap over a wall. This Elohim God, his way is perfect. The word of Yahweh proves true. He is a shield for all those who take refuge in him. For who is Elohim but Yahweh? And who is a rock except our Elohim? This Elohim is my strong refuge, and he has made my way blameless. He has made my feet like the feet of a deer, and set me secure on the heights. He trains my hands for war, so that my arms can bend a bow of bronze. You have given me the shield of your Yeshua, salvation. And your gentleness has made me great. You gave me a wide place for my steps under me, and my feet did not slip. I pursued my enemies and destroyed them, and I did not turn back until they were consumed. I consumed them, I thrust them through, so that they did not rise. They fell under my feet. For you equipped me with strength for battle. You made those who rise against me sink under me. You made my enemies turn their backs to me, those who hated me, and I destroyed them. They looked, but there was none to save them. They cried out to Yahweh, but he did not answer them. I beat them fine as the dust of the earth. I crushed them and stamped them down like the mirror of the streets. You delivered me from strife with my people. You kept me as the head of the nations. People whom I had not known served me. Foreigners came cringing to me. As soon as they heard of me, they obeyed me. Foreigners lost heart and came trembling out of their fortresses. Yahweh lives, and blessed be my rock, and exalted be my Elohim, my God, the rock of my salvation, Yahushua, the God who gave me vengeance and brought down peoples under me, who brought me out from my enemies. You exalted me above those who rose against me. You delivered me from men of violence. For this I will praise you, Yahweh, among the nations, and sing praises to your holy name. Great Yeshua salvation he brings to his king, and shows steadfast love to his anointed, to David and his offspring forever. The Song of Songs, Song of Solomon, verses 1 to 8. The Song of Songs, which is Solomon's. Let him kiss me with the kisses of his mouth, for your love is better than wine. Your anointing oils are fragrant. Your name is oil poured out. Therefore virgins love you. Draw me after you. Let us run. The king has brought me into his chambers. We will exalt and rejoice in you. We will extol your love more than wine. Rightly do they love you. I am very dark but lovely, O daughters of Jerusalem, like the tents of Kedar, like the curtains of Solomon. Do not gaze at me because I am dark, because the sun has looked upon me. My mother's sons were angry with me, and they made me the keeper of the vineyards. But my own vineyard I have not kept. Tell me, you whom my soul loves, where you pasture your flock, where you make it lie down at noon. For why should I be like one who veils herself beside the flocks of your companions? If you do not know, O most beautiful among women, follow in the tracks of the flock, and pasture your young goats beside the shepherd's tents. I compare you, my love, to a mare among Pharaoh's chariots. Your cheeks are lovely with ornaments, and your neck with strings of jewels. We will make for you ornaments of gold, studded with silver. While the king was on his couch, my nard gave forth its fragrance. My beloved is to me a sachet of myrrh that lies between my breasts. My beloved is to me a cluster of henna blossoms in the vineyards of En-Gedi. Behold, you are beautiful, my love. Behold, you are beautiful. Your eyes are doves. Behold, you are beautiful, my beloved, truly delightful. Our couch is green. The beams of our house are cedar. Our rafters are pine. I am a rose of Sharon, a lily of the valleys. As a lily among brambles, so is my love among the young women. As an apple tree among the trees of the forest, so is my beloved among the young men. With great delight I sat in his shadow, and the fruit was sweet to my taste. He brought me to the banquet house, and his banner was over me. His banner over me was love. Sustain me with raisins, refresh me with apples, for I am sick with love. His left hand is under my head, and his right hand embraces me. I adjure you, O daughters of Jerusalem, by the gazelles or the does of the field, that you not stir up or awaken love until it pleases. The voice of my beloved, behold, he comes, leaping over the mountains and bounding over the hills. My beloved is like a gazelle or a young stag. Behold, there he stands behind our wall, gazing through the windows, looking through the lattice. My beloved speaks and says to me, arise, my love, my beautiful one, and come away. For behold, the winter is past, and the rain is over and gone. The flowers appear on the earth. The time of singing has come, and the voice of the turtle dove is heard in our land. The fig tree ripens its figs, and the vines are in blossom. They give forth fragrance. Arise, my love, my beautiful one, and come away. My dove, in the clefts of the rock, in the crannies of the cliffs, let me see your face, let me hear your voice. For your voice is sweet, and your face is lovely. Catch the foxes for us, the little foxes that spoil the vineyards. for our vineyards are in blossom. My beloved is mine, and I am his. He grazes among the lilies until the day breathes, and the shadows flee. Turn, my beloved, like a gazelle, or a young stag on the cleft mountains. On my bed by night, the whole thing is only supposed to be a few verses. Okay, I guess I'm reading the whole thing. I sought him whom my soul loves. I sought him, but found him not. I will rise now and go about the city, in the streets and in the squares. I will seek him whom my soul loves. I sought him, but found him not. The watchmen found me as they went about the city. Have you seen him whom my soul loves? Scarcely I had passed them when I found him whom my soul loves. I held him and would not let go until he had brought me into my mother's house and into the chamber of her who conceived me. I adjure you, O daughters of Jerusalem, by the gazelles or the does of the field, that you do not stir up or awaken love until it pleases. What is that coming up from the wilderness like columns of smoke, perfumed with myrrh and frankincense, with all the fragrant powders of a merchant? Behold, it is the litter of Solomon. Around it are 60 mighty men, some of the mighty men of Israel, and all of them wearing swords and expert in war, each with his sword at his thigh, against the terror by night. King Solomon made himself a carriage from the wood of Lebanon. He made its posts of silver, its back of gold, its seat of purple. Its interior was inlaid with love by the daughters of Jerusalem. Go out, O daughters of Zion, and look upon King Solomon with the crown with which his mother crowned him on the day of his wedding, on the day of the gladness of his heart. Behold, you are beautiful, my love. Behold, you are beautiful. Your eyes are doves behind your veil. Your hair is like a flock of goats, leaping down the slopes of Gilead. Your teeth are like the flock of shorn ewes that have come up from the washing, all of which bear twins, and not one among them has lost its young. Your lips are like scarlet thread, and your mouth is lovely. Your cheeks are like halves of pomegranate behind your veil. Your neck is like the Tower of David, built in rows of stones. On it hang 1,000 shields, all of them shields of warriors. Your two breasts are like two fawns, twins of a gazelle, that graze among the lilies until the day breathes and the shadows flee. I will go away to the mountain of myrrh, to the hill of frankincense. You are altogether beautiful, my love. There is no flaw in you. Come with me from Lebanon, my bride. Come with me from Lebanon. Depart from the peak of Anamah, from the peak of Sinar and Hermon, from the dens of lions, from the mountains of leopards. You have captivated my heart, my sister, my bride. You have captivated my heart with one glance of your eyes, with one jewel of your necklace. How beautiful is your love, my sister, my bride. How much better is your love than wine, and the fragrance of your oils than any spice. Your lips drip nectar, my bride. Honey and milk are under your tongue. The fragrance of your garments is like the fragrance of Lebanon. A garden locked is my sister, my bride, a spring locked, a fountain shield. Your shoots are an orchard of pomegranates, with all the choicest fruits, henna with nard with saffron, calamus with cinnamon, with all the trees of frankincense, myrrh, and aloes, with all the choice spices, a garden fountain, a well of living water, and flowing streams from Lebanon. Awake, O north wind, and come, O south wind, blow upon my garden, and let its spices flow. Let my beloved come to his garden and eat the choicest fruits. I came to my garden, my sister, my bride. I gathered my myrrh with my spice. I ate my honeycomb with my honey. I drank my wine with my milk. Eat, friends, and drink, and be drunk with love. I slept, but my heart was awake. A sound, my beloved is knocking. Open to me, my sister, my love, my dove, my perfect one. For my head is wet with the dew, and my locks with the drops of the night. I had put off my garment, and how could I put it on? I had bathed my feet, so how could I soil them? My beloved put his hand to the latch, and my heart was thrilled within me. I arose to open to my beloved, and my hands dripped with myrrh, my fingers with the liquid myrrh on the handles of the bolt. I opened to my beloved, but my beloved had turned and gone. My soul failed me when he spoke. I sought him, but I found him not. I called him, but he gave no answer. The watchmen found me. As they went about the city, they beat me and bruised me. They took away my veil, those watchmen of the walls. I adjure you, O daughters of Jerusalem, if you find my beloved, that you tell him, I am sick with love. What is your beloved more than another beloved? O most beautiful among women, what is your beloved more than another beloved, that you thus adjure us? My beloved is radiant and ruddy, distinguished among 10,000. His head is the finest gold. His locks are wavy, black as a raven. His eyes are like doves, besides the streams of waters, bathed in milk. Sitting beside a full pool, his cheeks are like beds of spices, mounds of sweet-smelling herbs. His lips are lilies, dripping with liquid myrrh. His arms are rods of gold, set with jewels. His body is polished ivory, bedecked with sapphires. His legs are alabaster columns set on bases of gold. His appearance is like Lebanon, choice as the cedars. His mouth is most sweet, and he is altogether desirable. This is my beloved, and this is my friend, O daughters of Jerusalem. Whereas your beloved gone, O most beautiful among women, where has your beloved turned, that we may seek him with you? My beloved has gone down to his garden, to the beds of spices, to graze in the gardens, and to gather lilies. I am my beloved's, and my beloved is mine. He grazes among the lilies. You are beautiful as Sister Tirzah, my love, lovely as Jerusalem, awesome as an army with banners. Turn away your eyes from me, for they overwhelm me. Your hair is like a flock of goats leaping down the slopes of Gilead. Your teeth are like a flock of ewes that have come up from the washing. All of them bear twins. Not one among them is lost its young. Your cheeks are like the halves of a pomegranate behind your veil. There are 60 queens and 80 concubines and virgins without number. My dove, my perfect one, is the only one of her mother, pure to her who bore her. The young women saw her and called her blessed, the queens and concubines also, and they praised her. Who is this who looks down like the dawn, beautiful as the moon, bright as the sun, awesome as many army with banners, as an army with many banners? I went down to the nut orchard to look at the blossoms of the valley, to see whether the vines had budded, whether the pomegranates were in bloom. Before I was aware, my desire set me among the chariots of my kinsman, a prince. Return, return, O Shulamite. Return, return, that we may look upon you. Why should you look upon the Shulamite as upon a dance before two armies? How beautiful are your feet in sandals, O noble daughter. Your rounded thighs are like jewels, the work of a master's hands. Your navel is a rounded bowl that never lacks mixed wine. Your belly is a heap of wheat encircled with lilies. Your two breasts are like fawns, twins of a gazelle. Your neck is like an ivory tower. Your eyes are pools in Heshbon, by the gates of Beth Rabbin. Your nose is like a tower of Lebanon, which looks towards Damascus. Your head crowns you like Carmel, and your flowing locks are like purple. A king is held captive in the tresses. How beautiful and pleasant you are, O loved one, with all your delights. Your stature is like the palm tree. and your breasts are like its clusters. I say, I will climb the palm tree and lay hold of its fruit. Oh, that your breasts may be like clusters of the vine, and the scent of your breath like apples, and your mouth like the best wine. It goes down smoothly for my beloved, gliding over his lips and teeth. I am my beloved's, and his desire is for me. Come, my beloved, let us go out into the fields and lodge in the villages. Let us go out early into the vineyards and see whether the vines have budded, whether the grape blossoms have opened, and the pomegranates are in bloom. There I will give you my love. The mandrakes give forth fragrance, and beside our doors are all choice fruits, as new as well as old, which I have laid up for you, my beloved. Oh, that you were like a brother to me, who nursed at my mother's breast. If I found you outside, I would kiss you, and none would despise me. I would lead you and bring you into the house of my mother, who used to teach me. I would give you the spiced wine to drink, the juice of my pomegranate. His left hand is under my head, and his right hand embraces me. I adjure you, O daughters of Jerusalem, that you not stir up or awaken love until it pleases. Who is that coming up from the wilderness, leaning on her beloved? Under the apple tree I awakened you. There your mother was in labor with you. There she who bore you was in labor. Set me as a seal upon your heart, as a seal upon your arm. For love is as strong as death, and jealousy is fierce as the grave. Its flashes are flashes of fire, the very flame of Yahweh. Many waters cannot quench love, neither can floods drown it. If a man offered for love all of his wealth, all the wealth of his house, he would be utterly despised. We have a little sister, and she has no breast. What shall we do for our sister on the day when she is spoken for? If she is a wall, we will build on her a battlement of silver. But if she is a door, we will enclose her with boards of cedar. I was a wall, and my breasts were like towers. Then I was in his eyes, as one who finds peace. Solomon had a vineyard at Baal Hamon, and he let out the vineyard to keepers. Each one of them was to bring its fruit for 1,000 pieces of silver. My vineyard, my very own, is before me. You, O Solomon, may have the thousands, and the keepers of the fruit 200. You who dwell in the gardens with the companions, listen for your voice. Let me hear it. Make haste, my beloved, and be like the gazelle or the young stag on the mountain of spices. Revelation 15, 1-4. And then I saw another sign in heaven, great and amazing, 7 angels with 7 plagues, which are the last. For with them, the wrath of Elohim is finished. And I saw what appeared to be a sea of glass mingled with fire, and also those who had conquered the beast and its image, and the number of its name, standing beside the sea of glass, with harps of God, Elohim, in their hands. And they sing the song of Moses, the servant of Elohim, and the song of the Lamb, saying, Great and amazing are your deeds, Yahweh, God the Almighty. Just and true are your ways, O King of nations. Who will not fear Yahweh and glorify your name? For you alone are sanctified. All nations will come and worship you, for your righteous acts have been revealed. Deuteronomy 14:22-16:17. And you shall tithe all the yield of your seed that comes from your field year by year, and before Yahweh your Elohim, in the place that he will choose to make his name dwell there. You shall eat the tithe of your grain, and of your wine, and of your oil, and the firstborn of your herd and flock, that you may learn to fear Yahweh your Elohim always. And if the way is too long for you, so that you are not able to carry the tithe when Yahweh your Elohim blesses you, because the place is too far from you, which Yahweh your Elohim chooses to set his name there, then you shall turn it into money and bind up the money in your hand and go to that place Yahweh your Elohim chooses and spend the money for whatever you desire, oxen or sheep or wine or strong drink, whatever your appetite craves. And you shall eat there before Yahweh your Elohim and rejoice, you and your household. And you shall not neglect the Levite who is within your towns, for he has no portion or inheritance with you. At the end of every 3 years you shall bring out all the tithe of your produce in the same year and lay it up within your towns. And the Levite, because he has no portion or inheritance with you, and the sojourner, and the orphans, the fatherless, and the widow, who are within your towns, shall come and eat and be filled, that Yahweh your Elohim may bless you in all the work of your hands that you do. And at the end of every 7 years you shall grant a release. And this is the manner of the release. Every creditor shall release what he has lent to his neighbor. He shall not exact it of his neighbor, his brother, because Yahweh's release has been proclaimed. Of a foreigner you may exact it, but whatever of yours is with your brother, your hand shall release. But there will be no poor among you, for Yahweh will bless you in the land that Yahweh your Elohim has given you for an inheritance to possess. If only you will strictly obey the voice, the word of Yahweh your Elohim, being careful to do all this commandment that I command you this day, today. For Yahweh your Elohim will bless you as he promised you. And you shall lend to many nations, but you shall not borrow. And you shall rule over many nations, but they shall not rule over you. If among you one of your brothers should become poor in any of your towns within the land that Yahweh your Elohim is giving you, you shall not harden your heart or shut up your hand against your poor brother. But you shall open your hand to him and lend him sufficient for his need, whatever it may be. Take care lest there be an unworthy thought in your heart, and you say, the 7th year, the year of release is near, and your eye look grudgingly on your poor brother, and you give him nothing, and he cry to Yahweh against you, and you be found guilty of sin. You shall give him freely, and your heart shall not be grudging when you give to him, because for this Yahweh your Elohim will bless you in all your work and in all you undertake, for there will never cease to be poor in the land. Therefore I command you, you shall open wide your hand to your brother, to the needy and to the poor in your land. If your brother, a Hebrew man or a Hebrew woman, is sold to you, he shall serve you for 6 years, and in the 7th year you shall set him free. Let him go free from you. And when you let him go free, you shall not let him go empty-handed. You shall furnish him liberally out of your flock, out of your threshing floor, out of your wine presses. As Yahweh your Elohim has blessed you, you shall give to him. You shall remember that you were once a slave and a servant in the land of Egypt, and Yahweh your God redeemed you. Therefore I command you this day. But if he says to you, I will not go out from you, because he loves you and your household, since he is well off with you, then you shall take an awl and put it through his ear into the door, and he shall be your servant forever. And to your female servant you shall do the same. It shall not seem hard to you when you let him go free from you, for at half the cost of a hired worker he has served you for 6 years. So Yahweh your Elohim will bless you in all that you do. All of the firstborn males that are born of your herd and flock you shall dedicate to Yahweh your Elohim. You shall do no work with the firstborn of your herd, nor shear the firstborn of your flock. You shall eat it, you and your household, before Yahweh your Elohim year by year, at the place that Yahweh will choose. But if it has any blemish, if it is lame or blind, or has any serious blemish whatsoever, you shall not sacrifice it to Yahweh your Elohim. You shall eat it within your towns. The unclean and the clean alike may eat it, but as though it were a gazelle or a deer. Only you shall not eat its blood. You shall pour it out on the ground like water. Observe the month of Abib and keep the Passover to Yahweh your Elohim. For in the month of Abib, Yahweh your Elohim brought you out of the land of Egypt by night, and you shall offer the Passover sacrifice to Yahweh your Elohim from the flock or the herd at the place that Yahweh will choose to make his name dwell there. You shall eat no leavened bread with it. 7 days you shall eat it. You shall eat it with unleavened bread and the bread of affliction. For you came out of the land of Egypt in haste, that all the days of your life you may remember the day when you came out of the land of Egypt. No leaven shall be seen with you in your territory for 7 days, nor shall any of the flesh that you sacrifice on the evening of the first day remain all night until morning. You may not offer the Passover sacrifice within any of your towns that Yahweh your Elohim has given you, but at that place that Yahweh your Elohim will choose to make his name dwell in it. There you shall offer the Passover sacrifice in the evening at sunset, at the time you came out of Egypt. You shall cook it and eat it at the place that Yahweh your Elohim will choose. And in the morning you shall turn and go to your tents. For 6 days you shall eat unleavened bread. And on the 7th day there shall be a solemn assembly to Yahweh your Elohim. You shall do no work on it. You shall count 7 weeks. Begin to count 7 weeks from the time the sickle is first put to the standing grain. And then you shall keep the Feast of Weeks to Yahweh your Elohim, with the tribute of a free will offering from your hand, which you shall give as Yahweh your Elohim blesses you. You shall rejoice before Yahweh your Elohim, you, your son, your daughter, your male servant, your female servant, the Levite who is within your towns, the sojourner, the fatherless, the widow, who are among you, at the place that Yahweh your Elohim will choose to make his name dwell there. You shall remember that you were a servant and a slave in Egypt, and you shall be careful to observe these statutes. You shall keep the Feast of Booths 7 days. When you have gathered in the produce from your threshing floor and your winepress, you shall rejoice in your feast. You and your son and your daughter, your male servant and your female servant, the Levite, the sojourner, the fatherless, the widow, who are within your towns. For 7 days you shall keep the feast to Yahweh your Elohim, at the place that Yahweh will choose, because Yahweh your Elohim will bless you in all your produce and in all the work of your hands, so that you might altogether be joyful. 3 times a year, all of your males shall appear before Yahweh your Elohim at the place where he will choose, at the Feast of Unleavened Bread, the Feast of Weeks, and the Feast of Booths. They shall not appear before Yahweh empty-handed. Every male shall give, as he is able, according to the blessings of Yahweh your Elohim that he has given to you. Isaiah 10:32 to 12:6. This very day he will halt at Nob. He will shake his fist at the mountain of the daughter of Zion, the hill of Jerusalem. Behold, Yahweh Elohim of hosts will lop the boughs with terrifying power. The great in height will be hewn down. He will lop the boughs with terrifying power. The great in height will be hewn down. The lofty will be brought low. He will cut down the thickets of the forest with an axe, and Lebanon will fall by the majestic one. And there shall come forth a shoot from the stump of Jesse, a branch from his roots shall bear fruit. And when the Ruach Spirit of Yahweh shall rest upon him, the spirit of wisdom and understanding, the spirit of counsel and might, the spirit of knowledge and fear of Yahweh. And his delight shall be in the fear of Yahweh. He shall judge by what his eyes see. He shall not judge by what his eyes see, nor decide disputes by what his ears hear. But with the righteousness he shall judge the poor, and decide with equity for the meek of the earth. He shall strike the earth with a rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips he shall kill the wicked. Righteousness shall be the belt of his waist, and faithfulness the belt of his loins. The wolf shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the young goat, and the calf with the lion, and the fatted calf together, and the little child shall lead them. The cow and the bear shall graze, and their young shall lie down together, and the lion shall eat straw like the ox, and the nursing child shall play over the hole of the cobra, and the weaned child shall put his hand on the adder's den, and they shall not hurt or destroy in all of my holy mountain. For the earth shall be full of the knowledge of Yahweh, as the waters cover the sea. And in that day the root of Jesse, who shall stand as a signal for the peoples, of him shall the nations inquire, and his resting place shall be glorious. In that day Yahweh will extend his hand yet a second time to recover the remnant that remains of his people. From Assyria to Egypt, from Patros to Cush, from Elam to Shinar, from Hamath, and from the coastlands of the sea. He will raise a signal for the nations, and he will assemble the banished of Israel, and gather the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. The jealousy of Ephraim shall depart, and those who harass Judah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not be jealous of Judah, and Judah shall not harass Ephraim. But they will swoop down on the shoulder of the Philistine in the west, and together they shall plunder the people of the east. They shall put out their hand against Edom and Moab, and the Ammonites shall obey them. And Yahweh will utterly destroy the tongue of the sea of Egypt, and will wave his hand over the river with his scorching ruach breath, and strike it into 7 channels. And he will lead people across in sandals. And there will be a highway from Asia for the remnant that remains of his people, as there was for Israel, when they came up from the land of Egypt. And you will say in that day, I will give thanks to you, O Yahweh. For though you were angry with me, your anger has turned away, that you might comfort me. Behold, Elohim is my Yeshua, my salvation. I will trust, and I will not be afraid. For Yahweh Elohim is my strength and my song, and he has become my Yeshua, salvation. With joy you will draw water from the wells of Yeshua, salvation. And you will say in that day, give thanks to Yahweh, call upon his name, make known his deeds among the peoples, proclaim that his name is exalted. Sing praises to Yahweh, for he has done gloriously. Let this be made known in all the earth. Shout and sing for joy, O habitation of Zion. For great in your midst is the sacred one of Israel. Hashem Yeshua, Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Yahweh Eloheinu Milik ha'olam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'shayeh Alom natapekenu. Baruch atah Adonai Yahweh Naton HaTorah b'shem Yahshua. Amen. Blessed are you, Abba Yahweh, our God, sovereign King of the universe. You gave us the Torah of truth and set everlasting life in our midst. Blessed are you, O Yahweh, giver of the Torah. In Yeshua's name we pray. Amen.